Hello everyone, and Charasimim Ke'erene, Chesed Lechem V'Shalom, grace to you and peace. In this video we're going to look at the temporary nature and limited purpose of the Mosaic Law. So let's start with Galatians 3:24a, which reads in the Greek. Ostio nomos pedagogos emon yegonin is Christon. So that the law was our tutor to lead us into Messiah. So the first question is, which nomos or law is in view here? This is answered earlier in Galatians chapter 3 in verses 16 through 17, which reads, Now the promises were spoken to Abraham and to his seed. He does not say and to seeds as referring to many, but rather to one, and to your seed, that is, Messiah. What I am saying is this: the law which came 430 years later. Thus, the law which is in view in Galatians 3:24a is the law which came 430 years after the promise to Abraham, the law of Moses. And the second question is, what does it mean that the law is our pedagogos? The etymology of the word pedagogos is that it is a compound word from pais, meaning child, and agogos, meaning a leader or an escort. And among the Greeks and Romans, the name pedagogos was applied to trustworthy slaves who were charged with the duty of supervising the life and morals of boys belonging to the better class. The boys were not allowed so much as to step out of the house without them before arriving at the age of manhood. Thus, a pedagogos is a leader of a child, or a tutor, or a guardian. So, pedagogos was a temporary position needed only in childhood, and which terminated when the child reached manhood. And this temporary status is emphasized by use of the verb ginome, which means to emerge, become, transitioning from one point, realm, or condition to another. Thus, the pedagogos was only needed until the child arrived at manhood. And correspondingly, the law of Moses was only needed until Messiah, Jesus Christ, arrived and went to the cross. And this is stated in Colossians 2:14. Having canceled out the certificate of debt consisting of decrees against us, which was hostile to us, he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to his cross. And in Ephesians 2:15, which is a parallel verse, by abolishing in his flesh the enmity, which is the law of commandments contained in ordinances. And Colossians 2:16 through 17 goes on to identify this as the law of Moses. Therefore, no one is to act as your judge in regard to food or drink, or in regard to a festival, or a new moon, or a Sabbath day, things which are a mere shadow of things, of what is to come. But the substance belongs to Messiah. So therefore, the terminus a quo, or a starting point of the Mosaic Law, was the point at which God gave it to Moses, 430 years after the promise to Abraham. And the terminus ad quem, or ending point of the Mosaic Law, was when Jesus Christ, Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, died on the cross. Thus, the Mosaic Law was in existence from approximately 1400 BC to 30 AD. And it has been abrogated and replaced by the law of Messiah, as stated in Galatians 6:2. Bear one another's burdens and thereby fulfill the law of Messiah. Another name for the law of Messiah is grace, as stated in John 1:17. For the law was given through Moses. Grace and truth were realized through Messiah, Jesus Christ. And Romans 6:14b, for you are not under law, the law of Moses, but under grace, the law of Messiah. Thus the believer in Messiah in the current dispensation is under a new law, a much higher law than the law of Moses, as stated in Hebrews 3:5-6a. Now Moses was faithful in all his house as a servant, in all his house as a servant, for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken later. But Messiah was faithful as a son over his house, a son over his house. Therefore Moses was in the house as a servant, but Messiah is over the house as a son. And thus it says in 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17, therefore, if any man is in Messiah, he is a new creature. The old things have passed away. Behold, new things have come. The law of Messiah is one of the new things that have come. And the law of Moses is one of the old things that have passed away. Thank you, and Evcharisto, Toda Rabah.